listening to America First Radio.
And we're gonna win, win, win. And we're gonna make America great again.
Here is your host, Paul Adams.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Paul Adams, and I welcome you to America First Radio, where we can have a no-holds-barred civil conversation in the untamed and often burning political jungle. I cannot help but think that we are sometimes living in a Truman show, whether the players know it wittingly or unwittingly. They are going through sometimes the motions, and it is a lot like the Truman Show. It is like an alternate reality, a synthesized world of make-believe, call it what you like, Alice in Wonderland, kabuki theater. For example, we just had President Trump meet with Angela Merkel, and Angela Merkel, soon after that meeting, has agreed to take in 250,000 Syrians per year. While this was happening, Hillary and Huma Abedin are shopping in New York after they had a $1,200 haircut, donning their $2,500 bags. Soon after I posted my last podcast, in fact, it was on the same day that I posted my podcast last week, President Trump was in Tennessee, and there was a huge rally there, of course, and you could hear the audience, the crowds, yell out, "Lock her up," for a full minute. And it leads me to believe that we are somehow allowed to express our frustration, our discontent, our hopes and aspirations through these vents, pressure cooker vents, where the steam is allowed to escape, our frustration is allowed to manifest itself, find expression, and then everything goes back to normal, like nothing happened. We saw that happen back in 2008 with Ron Paul and Mitt Romney. Ron Paul was the man. He was bringing in hundreds of thousands of people at his rallies, while Mitt Romney can fill a reception hall. And you see how this works. The people are allowed to vent, and then their expectations, hopes, and dreams are locked in again, pent up until the next incident. Because the elite do not want to see an eruption. They do not want to see our aspirations truly realized. They do not want to see Hillary Clinton go to jail. There may have been some kind of a deal that was cut between all the parties involved. I imagine maybe the Vatican was brokering this deal, whereby Hillary would skate. And so here we are. And then you have Sean Hannity, who came out with a tweet. He said, "I have known Donna Brazile for years. We disagree on politics, but she's a very kind person. She admits mistake, gutsy, courageous. I love her passion." See, this is the kind of alternate reality we are living in. Instead, Sean Hannity should have taken the time to tweet parts 2, 3, and 4, explaining that not only is she admitting her mistake, but also she is condoning the collusion between the Hillary campaign and the media, CNN. It is proof positive that this is an alternate reality we're living in. And to just call her a kind person, courageous, gutsy, it just doesn't cut it, Sean. It just doesn't cut it. I don't know what you're thinking. I know what the people are thinking. Some other news here. Israeli jet shot down by Syria. We don't know if that's confirmed or not. Then we got McMullen, who is up to his old tricks again. We've learned that more than 48 million Twitter accounts, they're not real. They're artificially created. And a lot of them you can spot because they don't ever retweet on their timeline. All you see is their own tweets, tweet after tweet after tweet, with no retweets. They have very low followers, or the ratio of following to followers is totally whacked out. They're following like 3,000 people and they only have maybe 50 followers. And they usually have links that are infected with malware. These links, if you click on them, your computer will be infected. So be very careful. The best thing to do is not report them, just block them. And then we hear about Secretary of Defense James Mattis selecting a controversial undersecretary by the name of Ann Patterson, who was involved with the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. She was decried as a traitor to the cause of Egyptians, and her posters were bandied about in the streets. So there must be something there. We don't know what we don't know, but it looks very suspicious. I don't know all that James Mattis believes in. I know he believes in the climate change hoax, which is contrary to what President Trump believes in. Let me just focus a little bit here on Hillary, because we seem to have forgotten what this biodegradable organism has accomplished in her life. Besides her handling or mishandling of state secrets, besides erasing 33,000 emails with BleachBit, there's a lot more. You see, Obama knew that Hillary was using a private email server, and he was communicating with her on a regular basis. And even before she became Secretary of State, Hillary, as a senator, was a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee and a member of the Transformation Advisory Group, which advises the three branches of the military on various issues, including, arguably, with security. So she was no novice. She was no greenhorn, no debutante coming in as Secretary of State. Plus, she had been a First Lady. She knew exactly what went on with classified information. As Secretary of State, Hillary was the original classification authority. You know, that would be like the Pope as far as security. She had the final say on what was deemed confidential, secret, top secret, and special access program. And for her to say that she doesn't know or she did not remember what the letter C stood for, I mean, it flies at the face of logic. It is an insult to America's intelligence. And Hillary, on 22 separate and distinct occasions, told the public that she had never sent or received classified emails through her private server, which begs the question, what in the world was she doing as Secretary of State for 4 years, when that was her job, that was her designation, to send and receive emails which were marked confidential, secret, top secret, or SAP. What was she doing if she never sent anything that was classified? And this whole kabuki theater between Jason Chaffetz, Trey Gowdey, and James Comey is one for the record books. I mean, they went through the motions of pretending they were investigating this to give the public some reprieve, to give us some hope that, you know, the government was looking after things, they were looking after our best interest, and yet nothing came out of it. Nothing came out of it. Now, there's a lot of things that a lot of people don't know about James Comey, okay? James Comey and the Clintons go way, way, way back. All the way back to the Whitewater scandal. And don't forget that James Comey's brother did the taxes for the Clinton Foundation. All right? Let's connect the dots here. HSBC, back in 2012, was implicated in a huge, huge scandal which, if they had been indicted, it would have brought the whole financial world to its knees. HSBC was targeted for money laundering and tax evasion. We're talking now drug cartels interfering with HSBC's finances. And HSBC was also financing Clinton Foundation projects throughout the world. Do you think that maybe, just maybe, the Clinton Foundation could have been involved in some money laundering? I mean, how easy would it be for a drug cartel to say to the Clintons, look, we need to wash this money. Can we give it to you, and then you can give it back and keep your commission? So what happened in 2012? HSBC received a small slap on the wrist. It paid a small fine, $19 billion, which is the equivalent of 1 month's revenue for them back then. The Attorney General was Eric Holder. The prosecuting attorney for the Department of Justice was Loretta Lynch. That was in 2012. Now in 2013, guess what happens? James Comey is appointed as a director, a non-executive director of HSBC. Do you think that maybe, just maybe, there's a conflict of interest here? Do you think that maybe Comey should have recused himself? And then we find out that close to $81 million were donated to the Clinton Foundation through HSBC clients. That's above and beyond what HSBC was contributing to the Clinton Foundation. Look, I don't care what you think. All I want is the truth. I want an investigation. I want to clear all this up. I told you this is a no-holds-barred civil conversation, okay? I don't really care who comes on top. I want the chips to fall where they may. I don't care who's implicated. I don't care who has to go to jail. But we have to clear this up once and for all. We're doing a great job with the pedophilia. I don't know how much longer it's going to last. I don't know if this is more of a Truman show, where we go through the motions and then we'll leave. I don't know if we're going to keep the big decision makers on the loose or if they're going to go to jail. So, now we have, on top of all this, we have 650,000 emails which were found in Anthony Weiner's laptop. We still haven't heard of a congressional hearing, of any kind of a hearing, of any kind of prosecution from the Department of Justice. It's like there's nothing to see here. All we hear is that Hillary may run for mayor in New York City, and that Chelsea may run for senator in 2020. Like I said, folks, this could be the Truman Show we're in. A kind of WWE. Where the good guys and the bad guys really beat each other up in public, but then in private they have dinner and watch a movie together, right? Talking about their family. This could be all theater. They think that the public is too dumb to really understand what's going on. I want you to look back at The Simpsons show, way back. There's an episode where they show Donald Trump coming down the escalator and he announces his candidacy. In another episode, they show Hillary Clinton wearing a blue dress with a pearl necklace. And lo and behold, years later, Hillary is wearing that same blue dress with a pearl necklace. Lo and behold, years later, Donald Trump is coming down the escalator and he's announcing his candidacy for U.S. president. I mean, I'm not saying that Trump is complicit in this kabuki theater. But maybe in an underhanded way, in a very devious, nefarious way, the elite are trying to dupe us, or they're trying to gaslight us. Because Trump may have all the best intentions. His heart may be clear. But maybe they told him, look, on the day that you announce your candidacy for president, you need to come down that escalator. That's the way it's got to happen. And all Bill O'Reilly has to say about Hillary Clinton is that she's the most divisive woman in America. Is that it, Bill? Is that it? Is that all you have to say? Where have you been hiding? Are you at a loss for words? Or did the Clintons send you a big fat check? Or did they have some dirt on you? And I think I finally figured out how these elite work. See, they don't want to ever face karma. They don't ever want to pay the wages of sin. They don't ever want to have justice, chase them down. And so what they do is they leave us clues. They leave us telltale signs, and they expect us to figure it all out. Here's the puzzle, folks. If you can put it together, then you're smart enough, and we deserve to be prosecuted, and we deserve to pay for our sins, for our malfeasance, for our dereliction of duty. But if you can't figure it out, you know what? Well, you're dumb, and it's your fault. And if you're not speaking out, silence is golden. Silence implies consent. Silence exonerates us. And that's how they do it over and over and over again. I mean, I could talk about 9/11 here. Do you want me to talk about 9/11 extemporaneously? I mean, just that one incident in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, should tell you something. You know that scar in the middle of the field where supposedly the plane fell into and it was swallowed up by some kind of a mine, and that's why there was no plane parts or body parts? Well, that scar in the field was pre-existing. It was there all along, years before the incident happened. Do your research. That alone should tell you the whole 9/11 fiasco was like a badly scripted movie. It was put together by multiple directors, and multiple continuity people dropped the ball. You know what a continuity person is on a movie set? It's when they go from one scene to the next, and they want to make sure that all the props are in the same position, and everybody is standing in the same spot they were and facing the same way, so that there's continuity from one scene to the next. If there's a table with 10 items on it and there's 5 items missing in the next scene, well, there's something wrong, right? And that's what happened with 9/11. I mean, who can believe in this nonsense that a plane flew into the Pentagon? Who can believe that? When you have no wing marks, you have nothing except for a 16-foot hole. Does a jet go through a 16-foot hole? Come on. Come on, wake up, people. And to think that they confiscated 80 cameras from around the Pentagon after the incident. Who does that? You would think that they would show the world how this happened and give us a view from all different angles of how the plane ran into the Pentagon. And then the World Trade Center. I mean, what can I say about the World Trade Center? I don't know how many hours of research you people have done on 9/11. I've spent altogether close to maybe a couple hundred hours, looking at different videos, looking at different essays and reports and articles, listening to witnesses. I mean, have you done your research? If somebody destroyed your home and all you saw was a pile of rubble, and they told you, well, it was a firecracker that did it. It burned down the whole place. Would you believe that story? Would you believe the official narrative? So, ladies and gentlemen, with all that's going on in the world, with Korea and China, with Syria being carved up now, balkanized, I cannot help but think of Ezekiel 37 and 38, which describes the wind-up scenes right before the second coming, right before Armageddon. I'm trying to reverse engineer it and see how is this going to play out. All I know is the truth is slowly seeping to the top. And sooner than later, we are going to find out exactly what happened with the Clintons, with Huma, and all the rest of the miscreants that have hijacked our foreign policy and our national policy. There is a lot going on behind the scenes that we are not privy to. We are the dumbed-down masses down here looking at the theater, looking at the projection screen. They are projecting a movie which is affecting our reality, our decision-making. The scriptures refer to the great and abominable church that infiltrates every organization, decoys every institution. It's the great whore of Babylon that instigates wars, creates religions and political movements, and falls directly under the rule of Lucifer. My dear friends, there may be no way for us to resolve all the world's problems. There may be no way to bring peace to this world, because there have been too many people that have been compromised, co-opted, blackmailed, bribed, and the only remedy is the return of our Lord Jesus Christ as King of Kings, Lord of Lords. So I pray that President Trump may be the president in whose administration the Lord returns. I pray that he may have the fortitude and the wisdom, the insights, the premonitions, the intuition, all the gifts and talents that God can bestow him with to see us through this very, very, very dark period, not only in our nation's history, but also in the world's history. Because what lies ahead clearly is a clash of civilizations. In Asia, we may be seeing a contained nuclear war, nuclear exchange, as China tries to expand in the southeast, and as China's economy starts to implode. It's already imploding. And if we implement fair trade measures, it will implode at an accelerated rate. And as I've said before, China doesn't have the time to wait around until the United States is fully retooled, rearmed, upgraded its military. It has to act now. And if it realizes that Israel is the tail that wags the American dog, it may decide to strike and pounce on Israel first. We just saw Netanyahu visit China. Little cabals are running out of time, and they must act and act soon, because the truth is surfacing. The truth is just oozing out of the woodwork right now. We are at 3 seconds to midnight. America, Israel, Iran, Russia, China, the Vatican, the Illuminati, the Freemasons, Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations, these are the big players. We do not know what they are contriving, concocting in their secret meetings. All we know is that at the very top, at the apex of the pyramid, is Lucifer, who hates humanity, hates the human family, hates anything to do with free will, who seeks to usher in a Luciferian age. Here's a wonderful quote I just read. War is when your government tells you who the enemy is. A revolution is when you figure it out for yourself. And I, for one, have figured it out. So until next time, God bless President Trump, and God bless America.